Alright, so thank you so much for taking the time to check out this video. I made this because so many of the businesses that we work with are trying to rank locally, and there are just so many little things that they need to watch out for and that they can do on their own for the most part to really help start ranking their websites better locally. So some things you can check out about your website. We're going to use this website as an example here. It's not a website of our clients, it's just one that I found that I thought would kind of fit the bill for so many different little things that we could take a look at here. So let's go ahead and just dive right into it. At its core, this is a really good looking website for the most part. They did a lot of things right here, but I want to point out some things that you can look at on your website to try to make the comparison to see how you can improve it yourself. So again, kind of at its core, this is a good looking website. They're doing a lot of things right here, but there's some things that they could be doing to rank locally so much better. So first thing I see here is that the site, if you look up in your browser, it says the site is not secure. And what that means is either there's an SSL problem or they just don't have one installed on the website. This is really critical because this is one of the things that Google will actually use to rank your website, whether or not you have a secure website. Now what this is just a certificate that you buy through your domain name or your hosting or wherever you have your information at. And it gets applied to encrypt your website. Basically, it doesn't help hackers from hitting your website or getting into your website, but it does help encrypt the data that's in it. So Google really wants sites that are secure, so they start to rank those a little bit better. This not being secure is not going to rank as well in the search. So what we want to kind of do is just to see where our site ranks locally. First thing I really want to do is just kind of figure out what the site is about. What is that they want to rank for? So this is actually a home remodeling or a home interior design type of website. So what I would do is put in the service and location and see what comes up. So I went ahead and did that for these guys. I'm put in the city that they work in, which is Campbell, California, and then the service, which is home remodeling. So when I do a search for this, I get a couple different results, and this is really interesting to take a look at. So they have a new type of Google ad up here, when these are Google guaranteed local businesses, and you have to apply for these ads. It's kind of a couple stage process. It takes a couple weeks to go through, I think, for the most part. But once you get certified in here, you basically submit the fact that you are an insured company, that you are actually a local business. And once they approve you, then you get these ads which appear right up here at the top, which are super helpful because these are the things that people are going to be clicking on, whether they're on a desktop or on a mobile device, and they're going to get you see your business right away, which is huge. The next area that you really want to be looking at here is this area right here. This is called the Google Map Pack. And what it is it pulls out local businesses that it feels fit the bill for the location and the service that you're trying to rank for. And it pulls the 3 most relevant websites up here. Now, it is possible that there could be more companies in this location that are not appearing here while other locations are appearing. So we can say actually this is Los Gatos, California, which is obviously a different city than this one, but it's actually still pulling it up here. So we can see that for different reasons, Google finds these to be more relevant. Now, it's not necessarily the number of reviews that they have or the location, but it's a whole series of different things, mostly based on your Google business page. So let's go ahead and just talk about that real quick, making sure that you have a Google business page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just type in this company. Is it Heartwood Residential? And we can see this is their Google business page over here. So we can see it looks like they claimed it. They got a couple of reviews. They get some information in here. We can't see everything about this profile, but what you want to do is you want to go into your Google business page. You want to make sure that everything possible that you can fill out is filled out. That includes adding actual photos of your location, the inside, the outside, the services you provide, different things like that, your logo, making sure that your map is correct, having as descriptive of a about or description area filled out as possible here, and all sorts of other little things. So go through that, really make sure that that's completely optimized, because without that, you're just not going to rank as well. And as you can see from this result, if someone were to do a search for this, they're going to see these ads first, if there's actual ads in that area. And then the next thing they're going to see is this map pack. So people have already got a decision to make within the first little area here before they actually get to all the search results. So that's why getting into these areas is so critical for local businesses. But let's talk about some of the other things that you will want to look out for when you're trying to rank locally for your website. So what I have is this great website. This is completely free. I have no affiliation with it, but you can run your website through here. And what's going to do is give you a basic SEO audit report. So I've already put the domain name in here of the website that we were looking at. Let's go ahead and click audit. And this will just take a minute or two. It's going to go through and grade you on a whole bunch of different things. Now, some of it may kind of look like Greek to you, just not going to make any sense. Don't worry about that. I'm going to show you some of the things that you want to just extract from here and make sure is in your website. And if you're not seeing it, talk to your web guy or your hosting company or whoever it is that you feel that can be working on your website and make these changes to it, and ask them either why you don't have it or do you have it and you're just not seeing it. So we can see there's a lot of improvements that this grader is checking for. Some things are doing right, some things are not. Don't worry too much about this. One of the more critical things that you have is your title and meta description. Now this is like basically the what you're going to see if someone were to do a Google search. This is your title tag and this is your meta description. That's what actually shows when someone does a search for your business. So if I come back here, you can see that they have a decent title tag. Could be a little bit better. And then the same thing for the meta description. Looks like they've got a pretty good meta description in here. But again, could be better optimized for what they're trying to do, but at least they have it. So you can check your website, make sure you have that very first thing that you got to have and done right in order to rank. Keyword consistency, this is something we can get into once you get a little bit more into your optimization. If you know what keywords you want to optimize for, then you can go through and really kind of change some of this stuff. I don't think these guys really knew what they were doing when it came to trying to optimize, because they're ranking for like Nick and Michelle and the people at the company, but no one's really doing a search for that. They're doing a search for residential remodeling or interior design or different things like that, but those words aren't showing up here. But kind of moving on past that, one of the things that you're going to want to look for is robots.txt file. I'm going to make sure that that's in there and optimized. An XML sitemap. This is where I'm saying things are going to start to sound like Greek to you. XML sitemap, that is a sitemap that basically pulls out every single page that builds up your website and puts it in an XML file that you then submit to Google and to Bing and to tell them, hey, this is a roadmap to my website. Take a look, index it, and follow through it, and then you can rank my website on it. Because otherwise, you're just kind of waiting for Google to eventually find your website and start to try to figure out what your website's about. They may hit a roadblock and then just leave, if only a couple pages into kind of searching your website. So having this XML sitemap is going to directly tell Google every page that's on your website, tell them to index it, and try to figure out what your website's about. Now, this is probably the most crucial thing that you're going to want to have if you're a local business, is making sure that you've got schema on your website. Again, probably sounds like Greek, but this is very critical. This is just a little piece of code that you put on your website that tells Google everything about your website or about your company. It gives it the company name, the business hours, the business address, kind of what you do, your logo. It has all sorts of that basic information in there that will tell Google that you're a local business, more about that business, and they can help kind of rank based on that. So those are the things that Google will use when someone does a local search like this, that helps pull that up and makes your site more relevant. So one of the last things that I try to always make sure that the website is optimized for is how fast it loads. Now that is another one of the key factors that Google uses to rank a website. If there are two very similar websites ranking for similar keywords and one loads really fast and one loads slow, Google's going to rank the faster one above the slower one. So this is really critical. They've made this very clear that this is something that they use to rank websites for. So important, in fact, that they came out with their own, you can see Google Page Speed Insights, where it's going to tell you how fast your site is and basically what you need to do to fix it. So let's take a look at their website. I'm just going to go ahead and copy their domain name and plug it into this tool here. And this is all totally free. We'll hit Analyze. So what's going to do, it's going to take a look at the website and how fast it loads on mobile devices and on desktop. You get two different factors there, so you want to take a look at both and make sure that your website's optimized for both. All right, so we can see that loaded actually pretty fast there. For mobile, it's only about 35% optimized out of 100%. You really want to be in this 90 to 100% range right here, because once you get into there, that's Google saying that, hey, your site loads very fast, we're going to rank you a lot better. And we can see if you scroll down here, we can see that it took almost 6 seconds to the first contentful paint, which is basically the first amount of content that it sees. And we can actually see the path down here where Google is seeing just a blank page while all the code is loading in the browser, and then it finally starts to see some of this content. So this is where that 6 seconds comes in. Speed index takes about a total of about 12 seconds, almost 13 seconds to load fully on a mobile device. I think a bunch of other information here. So These are the kinds of things, again, that you're going to want to pass off to your web developer or a web team to fix, to optimize this stuff. It's a matter of optimizing code and images and different things like that a lot of times. So really just having the site properly optimized will make all the difference here. So we can come up here, we can take a look at desktop. You see they're doing a little bit better. They're at about 60% optimized. Still want to be in that 90 to 100% range. Still seeing a lot of the same issues here, but it definitely loads a little bit faster. Desktops obviously are going to be a faster processor and a faster speed for being able to pull up a website. So both of these things are very critical. More people are viewing websites on mobile devices nowadays. Google's actually calling it the mobile first, where they are starting to rank based on the mobile site first and then on the desktop, just because so many more people are using mobile devices. So those are the 5 things that I would always use to rank a website locally. Those are the first 5 things that I would fix. So again, we want to make sure that there's an SSL to encrypt the website. We want to take a look at where we're at in the Google search here, kind of where the website's at, who our competitors are in here, how they're beating us. Making sure that you have an optimized Google business page. Making sure that you have schema on your website, and some of this other basic information that we saw in this SEO optimizer, the meta tag, title, description, things like that. And then finally, the site speed. Again, you can check for all these things for free on your own. A lot of times, because most people have their websites built in WordPress these days, anybody can go in and make these changes and fixes and things like that. But if you're not comfortable with it, definitely reach out to a web provider or a web developer, and they can help you with these things. So I hope you found this useful. If there's any questions, please feel free to reach out to me anytime, and I'd be happy to either go through this in more detail with you or answer the questions that you have.